What are we going to do about airport lounge access? So, airport lounge access is changing, especially for those of us with the Capital One Venture X card. And with the big rule changes coming February 1st, 2026, which will be here before you know it, we need to decide what we're going to do about it all together. So, hey there, I'm Eric, and on this channel, we help you travel better, more often, for less using credit card points, casino comps, travel in the smart way. Today's video is short but important. Lounge access is one of the best travel perks out there, and the rules are changing. I want to walk through what's happening, what our options are, and then I want to hear from you because honestly, I haven't decided what I'm going to do yet. Okay, first of all, not everybody out there may have airport lounge access or be familiar with it. So what is airport lounge access and then what does that mean? So airport lounges give you a quiet place to sit, rest, charge devices, grab food, drinks, and usually alcoholic beverages as well, and sometimes even showers. So there are Delta Sky Clubs, there's the Centurion lounges, and there's Priority Pass lounges and Capital One lounges. Now, right now, what I'm using is a Capital One Venture X card, and that's been great for the last 4 or 5 years that it's been out. And it's given me access to Priority Pass lounges and Capital One lounges. For a lot of people, including us, lounge travel makes travel day much more relaxing, and especially on long trips. So the best card used to be the Capital One Venture X, which was a no-brainer for lounge access. And actually, I think I'm going to keep the card because it pays for itself. It does have a $395 fee. However, you do get a $300 travel credit each year, but you do have to use that through their travel portal. So that's a little bit of a hassle, but you do need to make sure you keep track of that. And then you also get 10,000 points each year, which is worth $150 or so. That being the case, they're actually paying you to use the card, and it still has Capital One lounge access, which I'm still very interested in. Those lounges are excellent. And they just built a new one in Las Vegas, and I believe it's already open. I'll be checking that out in January, and I'll give you a full report on that. And that'll be before the February 1st timing. But I've got some strategies I want to share with you, and I want to see what you think, and maybe together we can come up with a good decision, or if we have some other options, I would appreciate hearing them for sure. So this is what I'm considering doing. Currently, I have a PenFed credit card, and if you go to PenFed.org, there's plenty of information on it. What's special about this travel credit card? Let me pull it up right here quick. So it's the Pentagon Federal Credit Union, and anybody can get entry to it. What's special about it is the card gives you a $100 annual airline credit. So for example, if you upgrade a seat, or if you need pay for baggage, you can use your PenFed card for it, and it'll take care of up to $100 each calendar year. So I've already got one right now. The annual fee is $95. However, if you're a military veteran or if you have $500 in their checking account, there's a no annual fee. So for example, if you're not a veteran, you can put $500 in the account and you're going to get a 20%, $100, 20% return on that money. So I've been having this card for a number of years. I've never heard anybody actually talk about it on YouTube. I'm sure somebody has, but I have not seen it. And it's actually been a great value. It's not very sexy, but that one benefit is enough to keep it. Now, it does also give you a free global entry pass, which, especially if you're a veteran, you're going to get free global entry, which is a $120 value once every 4 years. And then this $100 airline pass, which you can use for bag, you can use for a drink, Wi-Fi on the airplane, all those things work, and it's really nice to have. So anyway, one of the things I was thinking about doing is just doing that and sort of doubling down on that strategy and get one for my wife. Then we'll have $200 of airline credits that we could use. And so we could use those to pay for our player 2 going into the lounge or whatever. So we'd have $200 that'd be our budget for that. But here's the second thing I'm considering. I'm actually leaning this way. There's a Ritz-Carlton card that is offered by Chase, and it's for Marriott properties. They're not accepting new applicants right now. However, if you have a Chase Bonvoy card, you can upgrade that card if you had the other card for at least 1 year. So I've had one of these cards for many years. It's actually, it's a no-brainer keeper as well, because I think it has a $95 fee, and you get a hotel credit up to 35,000 points, which easily covers that $100 fee. Now, they do have to keep track and make sure you use these hotel stays, but if you're traveling a good bit, that's not a problem. So if you upgrade the Ritz-Carlton card, what you get is going to be a $400 fee from that point on. However, they have a $300 airline credit. So you can use that for baggage or airline lounges if you need it. However, their Priority Pass and their Lounge Pass has unlimited free guests. So I'm sure there's some limit to it, but apparently it's unlimited free guests. So that should make it much easier for families. And that's something I'll report back on after I get the card and try that out. So anyway, I think I'm really excited about that. I think it's a good solution. So that's the $300 annual credit. The annual fee, I'm sorry, it's not $400, it's $450. But of course, the $300 credit makes the effective cost $150, and you also get the global entry every 4 years. And they also have, which I think is really cool, an 85,000 point 1 free night certificate. So you can stay at a Ritz-Carlton or at the Marriott, I think at Disney World. All those are, I'm not sure what points there are, but I know they're more than 35,000 points. So you can stay at one of those places for 1 night fairly easily. And as long as you manage those credits, it'll definitely take care of it. So anyway, I think that's really cool. And then you get the Priority Pass. And I think there's some other lounges that you can access too. After I get the documentation for that, assuming that I go that way, and after I hear back from some of y'all, I'll definitely let you know. I'd like to get feedback on what your plans are to do if you're a Capital One user and what you're planning on doing in the future. So what do you think? So that's where I'm at. Keep the Venture X card for Capital One lounges. I think I'm going to do that anyway. So that's fairly easy, and I've enjoyed having that card. I've got over 100,000 points on it right now, and I use this card to travel to Australia using those Capital One points, and that worked out awesome. So I can add a PenFed credit card for my wife, and I still may do that depending on how much I'm able to use the airline credits. And if we won't be using it for lounges, so that would effectively give us $200 if both me and my wife have that. And that may be enough to get us through the lounges as we go at $35 a time, depending on, how many times we're traveling next year. So I do really look forward to the lounges. I think it's a great value, especially with prices in the airport and then having food and everything else. And actually coming back from Nassau just last month, they have a very small Priority Pass lounge. It did not even mention food, but the way it worked, they just had some little ham sandwiches, and you could get 2 alcoholic drinks per person. So my wife really doesn't drink. So I was able to have more than 2 alcoholic drinks. And that was in the Nassau airport. It's a really small lounge. And in contrast to that, the Capital One lounge in Denver is awesome. They have to-go bags, and they have a full bar and food that, a hot bar. And it was just much better. Meeting tables, meeting rooms. I think they did have showers and other things. So anyway, we can do a full report on that later. So that's the second option, is keeping the PenFed card. And then the third option, and this may not be an option for everybody because you'll need to have a Bonvoy card. So I guess this is a good point. If you don't have a Chase Bonvoy credit card, now's the time probably to get it. And then this will be an option a year from now for you. And it's really a no-brainer to keep as well, since it only costs $95 and it's going to give you a free night. And those free nights are going to be worth in excess of $100 almost everywhere you go. And then you don't pay taxes and other stuff. So it actually makes it a great value. You just have to remember to use those credit certificates. They're really great for when you're traveling to go on a cruise and you're just going to stay 1 night someplace. And you can use those certificates, and that's what I usually do. So the night before, I'll use that. And you can also stack them together. And I've had it where I've used a certificate for 1 night and then reserved a room for additional nights. And they usually let us stay in the same room. I don't think I've ever had to be moved from one room to the next. So that's worked out fine. And then it saved a night. And the other nights I could use points. So anyway, getting back to it, the Ritz-Carlton thing, I think that's what I'm going to try out, but I'll wait to hear from you and see what's going on. And I guess the question is, if you already have the Venture X, are you sticking with it? I think I'm going to do that. I like having the credit cards. I like having the options, and it's nice to have a good mix of cards for sure. So drop your advice in the comments. I like to read all of them, and I'll try to respond to as many as possible. Right now, I do respond to all comments, but as the channel is going more, it's getting a little bit harder. But it does bring up the point. Please like and comment on this video. It helps YouTube show this to other people. And I'm a growing channel. I've only got 150 subscribers at this point, but I'm growing every day, and I really do appreciate it. And I want to get a community together that can give information back and forth so we can travel further for less money to more places. So I think that's exciting. If you enjoy this kind of practical travel strategy, hit subscribe, grab my free newsletter at carsandcomp.com, and for updates and bonus tips. Now, one note, if you're currently a subscriber, you may have noticed that I did not send out a newsletter last week. I'm having some technical issues with my email newsletter provider, and so I got to find a new provider for that. You can still subscribe on the website at carsandcomps.com. There'll be a link in the description for that. And as soon as I get that back up and running, you'll get the newsletters and all the descriptions of each video. I only send out usually an email each week that describes what the video is and all the descriptions. And hopefully if it's something that you're interested in, you'll have a leg up on everybody else and be able to click on the link and be able to watch the video. But anyway, I definitely appreciate your feedback. Thanks, and I'll see y'all next time.